Once upon a midnight dream, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded.
Hello all you lovely people, I am Lynette Clark. Welcome back, or if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to my channel. In today's video I am setting up my own January 2022 bullet journal in the theme of the infamous poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I have been wanting to do this theme for quite a while now, and when I found out that it was first published in January of 1845, so that's 177 years ago this month, that was a good reason as any to make it my theme for this month. Plus that means I can finally start using some of the many supplies that I have been hoarding for a while now and haven't gone with my themes that I have been doing over the last few months. So for my cover page I wanted to create a window in my layout that doubles up as a picture frame for the painting that I am going to do of a raven. So I started cutting out the oval window first with a craft knife and then marking in pencil either side of the pages where I want the images to be, just to make sure that everything lines up properly, and then I write the title of January using a Uniball black fine liner. So obviously I'm going to have an image of a raven on my cover page, and I wanted to do a simple watercolour using just two shades of paint grey and black. With some of the detail I add later on, I use a white gel pen for the highlights and then a black fine liner to add shadows and texture. All of the stationery and materials that I used in today's video and that I didn't create myself, I have listed in the description below in case you're interested in purchasing anything. As you can see, I've done a basic sketch of a raven onto some watercolour paper, and then I'm adding a wash as I want to use a wet on wet technique with the watercolour paint. I'm going to start with a wash of colour first and then let that dry, and then add layers to build texture and vibrancy. Born on January the 19th of 1809, Edgar Allan Poe was an American short story writer, poet, critic and editor who is famous for his cultivation of mystery and the macabre. His tale, The Murders in the Rue Morgue, initiated the modern detective story, and the atmosphere of his tales of horror is unrivaled in American fiction. His The Raven numbers among the best known poems in the national literature. I found this old-looking handwritten image of a section of the poem by doing a Google image search, along with many other images that I thought might come in handy for this month's layout. And then I printed them. Whilst on my mission to find bits and bobs that I may like to use on Google Images, I found this wonderful portrait of Poe in the style of the distinct crosshatch illustration style of the Victorian era, and knew that this must go on my cover page. To frame my pictures, I found these beautiful Gothic oval frames on the Cricut Design Space app and cut out two of the same size, one for each side of the pages. I think for this month's spreads, I definitely put my new printer to the test, because I also printed some gorgeous Victorian patterns to use as backing papers. And you will also see me using a lot of scraps of black cardstock that were in my stash and some recycled brown parcel paper left over from Christmas presents. When creating this bookish or light or dark academia aesthetic, it can get quite expensive buying ephemera, so if you have access to a printer, then that could be a cheaper option. Why not make your own? So I'm pretty pleased with how everything is starting to look. I don't know if you guys have the same issue when you're doing these kind of layouts, but sometimes I find it hard to decide what is not enough or is it too much. But I guess if you find yourself questioning it, I would just leave it, and then you can always add to it at a later date if you want to. So now on to my calendar page. I've sketched out an outline of the raven from a viewpoint as if looking down on it in flight from above. I kind of wanted to create an abstract painting of this beautiful bird. And as I'm going along creating this, it kind of ended up reminding me of one of those Rorschach ink block tests that they use for psychological evaluations. That wasn't what I intended, but I'm still pretty pleased with how it looks. With the painting finished, I'm now adding some more decorative elements to the spread. I wanted to age this printed copy of the poem, so I carefully utilised the candles that I have around me and burnt the edges to give it that distressed look. So usually for my calendar page I make a really big calendar grid, but I wanted to use a stamp as I thought it would be more in keeping with the style that I'm going for. Plus I find myself less and less needing such a big calendar on my calendar page. Now I've worked out the placement of where I want everything to go, it's time to stick it all down. The Raven is one of the most recognisable poems written in English. Edgar Allan Poe's spooky raven enters the narrator's house and perches on top of a bust above his chamber door, repeating only one word, nevermore. The narrator soon learns the raven has come to stay and that he'll never be free of longing for his lost love, Lenore. Sadly, when Poe was writing The Raven, his wife Virginia was suffering from tuberculosis. Having lost his mother, brother and foster mother to the same thing, he knew the toll the disease would take. The Raven is a poem written by a man who's lost many loved ones and was soon expecting to lose one more. So on to my next page, and I'm doing a line a day spread, which I love having as an additional tracker or memory capture, or even sometimes as a gratitude log. I don't want anything too elaborate on this page as I want to have space for writing. So I have just numbered from 1 to 31 on the left hand side of the page, and then I'm adding some grey with my brush pen on the lines that are labelled with an odd number. On the other page I'm doing my January bucket list, which frustratingly I haven't been that great at being able to tick off a lot of the things that are on my list in the past couple of monthly spreads. So I'm being a bit more realistic this month with the amount of items that I'm going to put on my list, especially as everything is a bit up in the air at the moment over here in the UK, and I'm not sure what we will or will not be able to do for much longer, so I'm going to be a bit overly cautious with my expectations this month. So to continue the month's theme, I am adding some more scraps of brown parcel paper and some black cardstock for the headers of each of the pages. So apparently Poe chose a raven for the poem because it could talk. With the common raven's intelligence often compared to that of dolphins and chimpanzees, it's fair to understand why. When he was writing the poem, he said he first considered another talking bird, a parrot. Some sources say he also tried out an owl before finally settling on the raven. Poe also wrote that the raven was a bird of ill omen and was infinitely more in keeping with the intended tone. I bet this was a decision that was quickly regretted, but The Raven was rejected at first by Graham's magazine. Poe published it in the American Review under a pseudonym, and then in January 1845 it came out in the New York Mirror under Poe's real name. Around the US it was reprinted, reviewed and otherwise immortalised. It soon became so ubiquitous that it was used in advertising. Poe was soon so recognisable that children followed him in the street, flapping their arms and cawing. Then he'd turn around and say, "Nevermore," and they would run away shrieking. Trying to capitalise off of this fame, he gave lectures that included dramatic readings of the poem. They were apparently something to see. However, despite all the fame, due to copyright laws, publications did not have to pay Poe to reprint his poem. As a result, The Raven made him very little money, and he was so poor that he wore his coat buttoned up to his chin to hide his raggedy shirt. It's crazy to think that despite of so much success and fame, he was struggling just to feed his family and keep the house warm and care for his ailing wife. In 1846, a friend wrote about their pitiful circumstances, saying, Virginia lay on her straw bed, wrapped in her husband's great coat, with a large tortoiseshell cat on her bosom. The coat and the cat were the sufferer's only means of warmth. She sadly passed away in January 1847. 2 years later, Poe had some forebodings of death when he left Richmond for Baltimore late in September. There he died, although whether from drinking, heart failure or other causes was still uncertain in the 21st century. He was buried in Westminster Presbyterian Churchyard in Baltimore. So for my habit tracker page, I'm tracking 8 this month in the hope that I will motivate myself to look after myself a bit better than I have been doing. So that's 8 small calendar grids for each habit that I want to track, which are finished off with these simple silhouettes of some watercolour ravens, and the title at the top of the page. Some healthy habits that I'd like to try and encourage this month are exercise, because I haven't been doing enough of that lately, and attempting to drink 2 litres of water a day, which I always manage to do in tea and coffee terms, but as soon as it comes to water, it's a struggle. So very quickly onto my mood trackers. I used feathers to track each day because I couldn't really think of anything else that would go with this theme. So for my next spread, I'm trying something that I've never done before. Anyone who knows me knows that I am no domestic goddess. However, clutter and mess really doesn't do my mental state any good whatsoever. So I'm hoping with an introduction of a cleaning schedule into my life that it will motivate me and inspire me to get those boxes ticked and get things done. I came across this schedule on Pinterest, and it has a section for daily tasks, weekly tasks, bi-weekly tasks and monthly tasks. So daily things for me personally are laundry, because as a big family with 2 very small ones, washing is a constant and ongoing battle. And then obviously things like dishes and hoovering, that's a daily task. And then weekly I'm putting things like bedding and cleaning the bathroom, polishing, and then maybe bi-weekly sort of cleaning the fridges, cleaning the oven. And then monthly I'll be doing things like the gardening and topping up the pond and cleaning windows, things like that. And then on the page there are these little calendar grids to tick off to know that you've done it for that week. I didn't want to heavily decorate this page because it's more functional than aesthetic, so I'm just adding a little bit of drop shadow and some feathers to try and tie it into the theme. So I don't know how well this is actually going to motivate me, but anything is worth a go, and if this doesn't work, then I'll try something different next month. I'd be interested to know if any of you guys use something like this in your bullet journal, and has it had a positive impact on your lives at all? So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. To finish off this page, I'm adding the quote as a reminder that a clean home is a happy home, with the addition to some sparkle doodles and a few bubbles here and there. So over on the other page, which I haven't put in this Plan With Me video, I am doing my social media trackers. I didn't add it in because I didn't want the video to go on too long, but if you guys are interested in seeing that spread, then I'll put it on my Pinterest, but also, let me know and I'll add it in next month. So we've only got a couple more spreads to go, and after fiddling around with bits of paper and trying to work out where I want everything to go, one side is going to be the books that I'm going to read this month, and then on the other page, because we've awkwardly got a 2-day first week of the month, I am adding those first 2 days and also my goals for the month. I haven't done one of these scrapbooky kind of layouts for such a long time. I've been really enjoying doing this, and I found it really fun sourcing things off of the internet that I don't have for free, and creating my own kind of stickers and backing papers and such. There were a few stickers and washi tapes from the Gothic Stationery Company that I would have loved to have been able to order for this theme, which is where I got that black and white stripy washi tape from, which I just love. But with what delivery times are like around Christmas, they wouldn't have come in time. So I had to improvise. And as you'll be able to see as I turn my page and create my first full weekly spread, I end up using these little silhouettes of ravens, which I created using a Cricut and some black cardstock and just stuck them in. So for this weekly spread, I am doing a column style layout, which I think leaves you quite a lot of room for all your bullet points and all your writing each day. And then, like most of the other spreads that I have done beforehand, I'm using this brown parcel paper at the top and then adding the days of the week. And then, of course, some ravens. And then finally, with a grey brush pen, I'm using some dots for the dates of the week. And then a touch of colour to the days of the week. So with the last spread done, I'd just like to say before this video ends, a big thank you to all of you who have been watching my videos and liking and commenting over the last 6 months. And a big hello to my new subscribers. Your presence and interest in my channel is massively appreciated. And thank you all so much for helping this little channel grow. I'm not usually someone who makes New Year's resolutions, but for this new year I'm planning on having a consistent schedule where I'll be posting videos around 6 PM GMT time twice a week on a Tuesday and on a Friday. If there's anything that you guys would like to see me do with either bullet journaling, arts, crafts, then please don't hesitate in letting me know what kind of content that you would like to see on this channel. And also I'd like to give a shout out to my husband, who has created some beautiful music for my channel over the last 6 months. And go check out his channel. His is Seb Sabotage Clark. There is a link in the description below, so go and give him some love. And last but no means least, if you're new to bullet journaling and it was your New Year's resolution to start, I have done a few beginner-friendly videos, so go and check them out here. Let me know what you think of this video. Leave me a comment in the section below. And if you are watching this video and you like my channel and the art and you haven't done so already, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you guys all so much. Take care.